Hello, hello, hello. It's Dolly. Welcome to Scrap Mixed Media Frenzy with Krista, Kathy, Ronnie, Sue, Scrappy Sister, and Scrappy Kathy and myself. We post every Friday and we all scrap lift the same layout or sketch. And this is our layout this week. And I've decided to scale it down. I am doing a layout for my mixed media journal book. I haven't done one in about a month, guys. So I said that I would do at least one a month. So it's time. All right, I'm adding this clothing tag to this journal page, and I'll come back to the story in a minute, but I want to tell you the products that I'm using. So this is Shimmer's Paint, and the first one I'm going to use is Trippin' in the Tropics. I wet my round tip brush. I wet my product there to prime it and get it ready and mixing it up, and then I'm just taking the ink right to the page. I squirt once, squirt twice, and I'm just moving that paint product on this mixed media paper, and it is made for watercoloring or using watercoloring or inks on it, so it will stand up to the water without having to prime that piece of paper right there. So I'm just adding a little bit more and a little bit more. I want to make sure that I have enough of this color peeking behind my fabric tag, or the tag. Yeah, fabric tag is what I call it. I could be wrong, and that's okay. You can correct me. Now I'm going to just splatter some of that paint off that brush. And then I'm going to bring in a baby wipe and dab it up a little bit, and then just keep watching it. There is no editing. I'm not doing any video magic here. Okay, didn't cut nothing out right now. Just keep watching it. You're going to see that paint just keep penetrating back up, and it's going to look so cool when it's done, that like cloudy type look. So I'm working on this little piece over here, because if you look at the sketch, and I flipped it, if you notice. So the photograph on the 12 by 12 layout that I am scrap lifting is to the right, and the little embellishment cluster is I'm sorry, the photograph is to the left and the little embellishment cluster is to the right. So that's why I'm creating that. And it becomes a little bit tricky to downsize this, especially if I'm using this like oversized tag. And I'm keeping it fairly simple. So see that paint area to the right? Look at that. See how it's just penetrating back? And now right here, I did stop the video and let it dry. Didn't do anything more. I didn't take a paper towel, nothing. I just let it dry on its own, and it took about, I want to say about 30 minutes to completely dry. And now I'm using this kind of like stitched stencil, and I'm not sure what collection. I think that's from Close to My Heart, but don't quote me on that. And I'm using archival black ink from Ranger. All right, so now I'm just ahead of myself, and you can see exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to add also stamp little butterflies on there. I want to remind you that I will have all the ladies' links listed below in the description box. So be sure to go check out their version of scrap lifting this layout. Now remember, it can be a jumping off point. It can be just one element that we try to mimic. It could be just the color. So it's just an inspiration piece, okay? And now I'm going to bring in the stencil, and I'm going to use my Vicki Boutin modeling paste. This is like butter. It's a thinner modeling paste, which I love for my mixed media journal, or if I want just a little bit of dimension and I'm not making a real strong like statement, if that makes sense. But you can make a strong statement by adding ink, and you're going to see me take some of my Shimmer's ink and add it with the Vicki Boutin Mixed Media, and it works perfect. I don't lose the consistency of the modeling paste. It didn't take longer for it to dry. So now you can see that I'm taking Honeydew List, and it's this gorgeous green color. I love it, and mix it in. And then I will bring back Trippin' in the Tropics, and I use all three colors. So I use the white as is, the modeling paste as is, to represent the white that's in the background. And then I'm representing the pinkish red Trippin' in the Tropics, and then the honeydew as an offset color to the tag. All right, so when I was a child, and I journaled this little bit right here to the left, when I was a child, I wasn't a fan of cartoons. I don't know why, it just didn't interest me. I don't know. But my dad loved cartoons, and back in the day, it was Bugs Bunny and the Road Runner, and I can't think of what, I mean, and he faithfully watched at least one episode of probably about 5 different cartoons. And when I was younger, the only one that I really cared to watch was the Road Runner, believe it or not, a little bit of it. And then as I got a little bit older, and I was able to watch the cartoons that I wanted to watch, which was only like a handful. One I liked was when, I don't remember which cartoon it was that Betty Boop would appear in, and then eventually she had her own cartoon. And I was just always kind of intrigued. And the theory behind that is, of course, everybody got real sexy, Marilyn Monroe and stuff, and it was probably some truth behind it. But if you look up the history behind it, it really had nothing to do with Marilyn Monroe. But anyway, so I just wrote in my journaling that, Betty Boop was one of 5 cartoons I watched as a young child. She was sexy, cute, and independent. When I saw these PJs, I just had to have. And I'm telling you, it was very popular when I was young, but I wasn't into icon shirts and all that kind of stuff, so I never picked up any of her items. But I mean, it was big. You could get keychains and pictures and you name it. So it was a very popular cartoon back then. And I think there was a few movies made as well. So anyway, I'm just documenting a little bit about watching the cartoon. Now, to keep your eye focused and not fall off the page, I always ink the edges, and I'm using Festive Berries. And this layout will be complete. Real simple, not a lot to it, a few different techniques. So get out your mixed media products and give it a try. And we'll see you next time. Keep coming back on Friday. Be sure that you're a subscriber. Let me spit that out, subscriber. And give a thumbs up. And be sure to check out all the other ladies. And their links are listed below. And I will be checking their videos out too. There's my one and only close-up. We'll see you next time. Bye.